The stage is set for the Lord to appear.
For the Lord to appear.
The world is right for His almightiness.
For His almightiness.
There is a sound of a great revival.
Of the great revival.
Here comes the Lord. Abundance of rain.
Of abundance of rain. The day of the Lord is dawning. The night of gloom is gone for good. The bar of love sweeps on the land. The day of the Lord is come at last. The day of the Lord is dawning. The night of gloom is gone for good. The bar of love sweeps on the land. The day of the Lord is come at last.
Another day of the Lord is here.
For the Lord is here.
To mark the end of Satan's stronghold.
Of Satan's stronghold.
The Lord is sent to do mighty work,
To do mighty works.
to win the war, back again to go.
Back again to God. The day of the Lord is dawning. The night of gloom is gone for good. The bar of love sweeps on the land. The day of the Lord is come at last. The day of the Lord is dawning. The night of gloom is gone for good. The bar of love sweeps on the land. The day of the Lord is come at last. Here I am,
All my intention,
all my intention,
all my obsession,
all my obsession.
I want to lay them all down.
I want to lay them all down
Your hand,
in your hand.
only your love is right.
Only your love is vital.
Tied to
I'm not entitled. Still you call me your child. God, you don't need me, but somehow you want me. Oh, how you love me. Somehow that frees me to take my hands off of my life and the way it should go. Oh, God, you don't need me, but somehow you want me. Oh, how you love me. Somehow that frees me to open my hands up and give you control. I give you control. to be. All along my pilgrim journey, Savior, let me walk with thee. Close to thee, close to thee, close to thee, close to thee. All along my pilgrim journey, Savior, let me walk with thee. Not for ease or worldly pleasures, not for fame my praise shall be. Gladly will my toil suffer, only let me walk with thee. Close to thee, close to thee, close to thee, close to thee. Gladly will my toil suffer, only let me walk with thee. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I lay it all down again. To hear you say that I'm your friend. You are my desire. No one else will do. 'Cause nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find a way to bring me back to you. Oh, you're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you I need. Oh, you're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you I need. Help me know you I need. Help me know you I need. Help me know you I I believe, I believe, I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
He holds the future in the palm of his hand, and he has never failed me yet. I know he's reigning and still has control, so why should I worry or fret? I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe,
I believe,
I believe,
I
he will surely lead his children on out. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
There are some people who live each day in fear of what tomorrow may bring. But I'm trusting in one who is walking so near. I'm talking about the King of all kings. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
God can do anything, anything, anything.
So why should I worry or fret?
God can do anything, anytime, anywhere.
So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
He's got the whole world.
In his hands.
He's got the whole wide world.
In his hands.
He's got the whole world.
In his hands. So why should I worry or fret?
He's got the whole world.
In his hands.
He's got the whole wide world.
In his hands.
He's got the whole world.
In his hands. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe. I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. So why should I worry or fret?
Good day, viewers all over the world. We welcome you all to this great section of the Hilltop Encounters 2020, tagged Love, Relationship, and Marriage. We are going to talk on this topic, and as well, you are free to ask your questions. And we have some questions we are as well going to answer here today. My name is Miss Ikechukwu Faith Amarachi. I'll be the one anchoring this very topic today. As well, as you all can see, I have great personalities that are sitting here with me. Doc, please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, audience. You're welcome to this show. My name is Dr. Edwin Onyabo. I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Agricultural Economics at Ebonyi State University, Ebonyi State, Nigeria. I'm a pastor and I'm the general coordinator of the Watchman Campus Fellowship. You're welcome to the show.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Sister Amara, please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you very much, my moderator. I'm Miss Amarachi Peace Ahamefule, a youth counselor and a gospel music artist. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Barrister, please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
All right, good day, audience. My name is Michael Oyaga. I'm a legal practitioner, a public speaker, an author, and a pastor.
All right, thank you so much. Brethren, as you all can see as well, we have people that are joining us online. They are as well going to contribute to this very discussion, and I would love them as well to introduce themselves. Mommy Betty is joining us from Lagos. Ma, please, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My name is Betty Akolisa. I'm a pastor's wife as well as a women coordinator in my church. I'm also a theater artist, and I work in the media department of the Watchman Catholic Charismatic Renewal Movement as the marketing manager. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Mommy Julianne is joining us from our Bakaliki. Ma, please, can
Welcome.
you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you very much, our moderator. My name is Sister Juliana Onyabo. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm a chief nursing officer lecturing in School of Nursing, Federal University Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm also a women coordinator in the campus ministry. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Sister Gochuku is joining us from Aba. Sister, please, can you introduce yourself to the audience? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Ekwem Juliet Ogochukwu. I'm a student leader at Alex Ekweme Federal University, Ebonyi State. I'm also in 300 level. My discipline is history and strategic studies. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Now we are going to go fully into the topic which says love, relationship, and marriage. Barrister, please, sir, I'll be starting with you. So every day in our life, we hear about love, but there is one thing I've noticed: most youth misinterpret this word love. Can you briefly explain to us what the meaning of love is?
Okay, I would say, thank you very much for the question. I would say, in my own words, love is one concept that has been misunderstood and misinterpreted,
Okay.
and of course misrepresented also. But if I may define it in very simple terms, they say that lawyers do it in brief, so I'll just make it brief.
All right.
Love for me is just attraction. You are attracted to somebody in a good way, you know, and there are a lot of other elements that come under that concept of love, because if you say you love somebody, then the issue of loyalty comes in, the issue of commitment comes in, the issue of sacrifice comes in, and a lot of other things. So I'll just take it as attraction.
All right, sir. Is there any limit to love? Is there any limits or an extent you could love an individual?
Well, there's no limits. If you say you love somebody, then you should be ready to go all the way. I'll be speaking majorly from the Bible, from the scriptures. For me, the scriptures say that for God so loved the world, so that so qualifies the love. So loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He was ready, willing, and of course, you know, not holding back his only begotten son for the sake of the love that he has. So I always say to people that you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving.
All right.
So when it comes to loving, there's actually no limits. You should be ready to go all the way.
All right.
If you say you love somebody, yes.
Thank you so much, sir. That means you're telling us that love is a strong affection
Very strong one.
towards an individual or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Doc, please, this question goes to you, sir. So is there any difference between love and lust? Because these are two words that confuse you most times. Can you tell us, can you differentiate between love and lust? And if possible, with an instance, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, there's a difference, a whole lot of difference between love and lust.
All right, sir.
Love is a positive attraction, like Barrister have defined.
Okay.
Positive regard towards somebody, a desire for the good of someone. But lust is sometimes, most of the times, it is a strong pull or push toward somebody in order to satisfy one's sexual feelings.
Okay.
So you find out that love is not attached to issue of sex.
Okay.
Or carnal satisfaction. Love want to give, love want the good of somebody, but lust wants to extract sexual satisfaction from the object or subject of lust. And now you talked about instance. I will draw an instance from the Bible. There was this young man called Tamar, the son of David.
Okay, sir.
Who began to feel an attraction, an excessive attraction, an infatuation, or what people call today crush, toward his half-sister, to the extent that he became sick. And his friend had to give him advice to pretend and that he was sick and trap his sister. And immediately after he had carnal knowledge of his sister, The Bible says that he hated his sister Hannah exceedingly. So, lust, crush, infatuation is a sexual attraction, sometimes uncontrollable toward somebody. But love is a positive, deep affection towards somebody for the good of that person.
Wow, this is nice. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sister Marachi, do you have anything you have to say about this very topic we're talking about, this law? Do you have anything to tell us on it?
Yes, I hear a lot of people saying, I love this person, I love this other person. But to me, I like defining that particular word, love. And when I'm relating with anybody, I'll just say, let's define this relationship. Love is just an exciting feeling towards somebody without expecting much in return, without expecting much in return. It can be from this a man, between a girl and a boy. Like children in the classroom, you see two people saying, Auntie, I love this girl and I love this boy. At a teenage age, you see people saying, I love this young person and I love this other person. Likewise, every day we meet different people. And there's a love between a father and a daughter, father and the children. It depends on what.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Ma. If I'm not mistaken, all we are saying is that love is unconditional.
Yes.
It's a strong affection towards someone. While lust is targeted to a specific something. Okay, thank you so much. Please, Sister Ogochukwu, this question is for you. I hope you are there with us. Sister Ogochukwu?
I'm here with you.
All right.
I'm here.
Please, what advice will you give to a sister or a brother that is having a strong affection or attachment towards another? You know, this now is happening in the mind. This one is not aware of it, but it's happening. What advice will you give to that specific brother or that individual?
Okay. When a young person observes this kind of thing, firstly, you have to admit first, because one of the issues that we youths we have that we don't tell ourselves the truth most times. Now, when you tell yourself the truth, when you're having a feeling and you know that this feeling is very strong, you cannot control it. The truth is that you tell yourself the truth, because there are things that even when we don't say, our body chemicals, they just react to it. So I think and I believe the youth should cut off any form of social attachment to the person, like the social media, the call, and the rest. And then when you're done with this thing, you can meet a more matured Christian to counsel you on what to do. So I think this is my advice. When this kind of thing comes up, firstly, you've accepted that this is what is happening to me. First of all, you avoid it yourself by cutting off any attraction or maybe let me say any connection to the person, and then you meet a more matured Christian to counsel you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Please, if I may ask, have you been into this situation before?
Okay. The truth is yes, a capital yes, and yes. My answer is yes.
Okay, so how did this get through? How were you able to handle it?
Okay, the truth is that firstly, I told myself the truth. I said, this is not like the normal love that I know, because you have love you have for your siblings. So you know that when this is stepping the boundary, you understand that this is no longer the perfect love you should have. So what I did was that I stopped call. Like when the person calls, I will end the call and avoid the person's chat. So when I did this, and I thought I was going to a more matured Christian, I told the person the truth. I said, this is what is happening to me. This is the kind of feeling I'm having. And the person counseled me. And after counseling me, I applied the techniques the person gave me. And I saw myself, I saw the loss or whatever. I saw it going down, and finally it just left. And that was it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Barrister, I guess you've been in such a situation before, sir.
you're not being human. You need to acknowledge the fact that the feeling is there. Secondly, you need to define the feelings. Thirdly, you need to know what brought about this feeling. Whether it is lost, like Doctor has already differentiated, you need to acknowledge that something must have informed this feeling. If it is lost, it is possible that you have exposed yourself to a lot of, activities that are now charged to your mind, and then the next available boy or the next available girl that you saw, you began to think that you can go into that person, and then the feeling is there. But if on the other hand, it is a genuine feeling, you also need to ask yourself some questions. Am I ready for marriage? If I'm not ready for marriage, there's no point. So, back to the question you asked me, have I had this kind of feeling before? Yes. And then I have to tell myself, look, you are not ready for marriage yet. So just let that feeling be what they use in medical term, brought in dead. Let it die on the spot. Because if you focus on it, it's going to make you real. Yes, a lot of distraction. That's the point.
Thank you so much, sir.
Please, sorry, I want to come in here.
All right, no problem, sir.
Yes, I think what you are asking is a situation where a young man or a young woman, you suddenly found out that you have developed a feeling, an attraction towards somebody, or you found out that somebody has developed attraction toward you. So if that is what you are asking, I align myself with the people who have made submissions before, that first and foremost, you find out what led me to this.
Okay.
What led to this? I'll give you an instance. Sometime when I was in secondary school, a young chap, very handsome, and there was, I don't know how yes. There was this young lady that was living close to the place we were living. I was living with my sisters. I had my room, my sisters were living in that place too. Now there was this lady whose their house was very close to ours there. I didn't know this lady was admiring me, or what language do I use, until one of the times I traveled. I went on a weekend, and by the time I came back, my sister told me that lady came and assisted them, fetched water, did a lot of things, and that the lady told them that she was doing that because of me, okay. That she liked me so much, okay. And that they should help her to, tell me. So my sisters actually told me that, and I found out that when they told me, I began to also, somebody, a lady loves me, a lady wants me, so I'm a big boy, so I began to feel that way. Now, that time I had not known Jesus Christ, I had not been born again. Now, but I would say that I was not yet exposed to really interpret what that meant. I just had that pride inside me that I was the subject of a lady's attraction. But then, nothing happened. Along the line, I gave my life to Jesus. And this lady, at that time, I had become fully mature. The lady also had become fully mature. And every time I returned home on holiday, this lady will want to come to our house. This lady got so friendly with my sisters, with my people. But then I had become born again. I had to sit myself down. I said, look, if I allow this thing this way it is going, definitely it will bear some undesirable fruits.
Okay.
I will definitely fall one day if I allow this thing to continue. I knew it within myself. I knew that if by mistake or by design, I was allowed to stay together with that lady in a room, I know something bad will happen as a believer. So I knew that my defense had been conquered, and the lady herself was just looking for a way also to get it to me. So I told myself that, look, this is not proper. This is not from God. This is not righteous. I cannot, even though the feeling was giving me some kind of joy that a lady is dying for me, but I had to tell myself, look, you are treading a very dangerous path. So I summoned courage. I told my sisters, why are you people allowing this lady to be coming through you to me? You want to ruin my life? I had to tell them. Now, I had to let my mother know because she was coming to our family house whenever I come. And my mother had already started calling her my son's wife. So I told my mother, you want to ruin me? Why are you people allowing this lady? So after talking to my people, one of the days the lady came, I mustered courage. I had prayed. I mustered courage and I sat her down. I told her, look, in those days, they were calling you my wife of Edwin and all that. I had not given my life to Jesus. Now I am a Christian. I am born again. And it is not proper that I continue to allow them call you my wife. You may think that I'm going to marry you in future. And again, if we continue this way, I may ruin your life or you ruin mine, and I'm not ready for that. Please, I've given my life to Jesus. Let this thing stop today. Don't, when you see me as a human being person. Greet me, I greet you. There is nothing, no relationship between me and you from today. I love you as a soul, as a human being. And so you love me, you should love me as a human being. And after talking to her like that, she felt so bad. She wept. And then that was the end of that relationship. Initially, she felt she was angry with me. She showed it by every respect. But later on, I believe she understood. And I don't know where she is now. But that was how I was able to deliver myself from that situation.
All right.
Thank you
so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I want to ask a question. Does that mean that love, for you to love an individual to an extent, you are the one to accept it or not? Can one control the extent to love an individual? Can you accept to love someone or not?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Why not? Human beings are free moral agents.
Okay.
If we don't have control over what we receive, what we accept, and over what happened to us, then God should not judge us.
Okay.
But God will judge us responsible for whatsoever that we take in. So, but I would want you, as you're asking a question, to really define, to let us know whether you are talking about genuine love or you are talking about lust.
Okay. So what I mean now is, in a situation, because the first question I asked is when a sister, a brother is growing such love. Now, when an individual is having such emotional feeling attached to a particular person, can you quench it on your own without going further to consider if maybe this thing is related to maybe this person is my life partner or not? Can you on your own decide to quench it? I don't want and quench it that way. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I think the word she's trying to use is emotional feeling, not love. So maybe you take it from there, emotional feeling, yes.
If it is just an emotional feeling, which is what most young people do.
Yes.
Most young people, what they do is, those things are emotional. You just see an elegant lady, maybe because of her stature, maybe because of some other qualities, you just would like to have this lady as a friend, just to satisfy that pride that this is my friend, or to satisfy your sexual desire. Now, if that is the case, you have the power within you to say, no, I don't want this. However, like Sister Bochuku said, if you find out that you are not able, because it depends on your spiritual level, it depends also on your natural ability to control yourself. Some people have more self-control than other people. In spirituality, some people are more spiritual than others. So if you find out that, look, you've tried to say no, you've tried to control this, and meet your pastor, meet another Christian that you know that knows the truth and stands by the truth, who will counsel you. Don't meet somebody who will tell you, everybody is doing that now. Why are you? Are you not a girl? Are you not a boy? Why are you pretending? My friend, don't meet that kind of person. Meet somebody who's spiritual, who knows the truth, who will be able to pray with you, who will be able to suggest to you how to go about it.
Can I add something to that?
Yes,
just one or two lines. When you talk about strong emotional feelings, I want to say with every sense of responsibility and humility that somebody can actually come under a very strong emotional feeling as a result of seduction.
Okay.
So if it comes to that, like what Doctor has said, you need to go for prayers. You need to go for counseling. I don't want to go say some other things. I'm talking from experience now. You just see a lady and you see yourself so attracted to her and the rest of that, and you're just uncontrollable. You know, the feeling is so much and it's just eating you up. You may need to go for prayers also. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Wow, we are really moving somewhere, and I'm really enjoying this topic. So, Mommy Julian, are you there with us, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay, ma'am, please, what will you,
I'm with you.
okay, ma'am, what will you tell us about relationship? How do you define relationship, ma'am?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Actually, relationship, as the word goes, there are different types of relationship. There could be a relationship between two people of the same sex, of different sex. But one important thing I want to say about this relationship is that if somebody is a Christian, there are a relationship that is acceptable in the presence of God, and there are relationships that are not acceptable.
Okay.
As a Christian, there is a normal relationship that has to go with a father between a married man and is acceptable. There is a relationship between the parents and the children is acceptable before God. There is also a relationship that has to do with maybe people being friends of the same sex, being friends, a man and a man, or a boy and a boy, or a girl and a girl. But if it comes to a relationship that is, as I'm saying, that there are ones that are not acceptable in the presence of God. If a relationship begin to go between an unmarried man, an unmarried young man, and an unmarried young lady, it is unacceptable. And if such relationship continue, it will lead to sin, and that one is unacceptable. Another thing I have to say about relationship is that there may be also a relationship between the same sex, but that are also ungodly, like if people go beyond the normal relationship, like people who engage in lesbianism, even though they are of the same sex, it is unacceptable. But if it is a normal relationship, like somebody being friend, there is nothing attached to it, there's no problem with that. So what I want to say generally is that Christians should engage in acceptable relationship before God. And another important thing I want to say about relationship is that as a Christian who has the Spirit of God, who takes heed to the word of God, there is also a relationship that you will keep with somebody that is not a Christian, and it will tend to man the godliness in you, which the Bible condemns, where it says, be you or not together with unbelievers. So such a relationship is also not acceptable. The few things I have to say about relationship. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Also telling us that there is something like acceptable and unacceptable relationship. Please, we need someone to throw more light on that. Barrister, can you help us and throw more light on acceptable and unacceptable relationship?
Flowing from what Mommy Julian said, it's just in steps. The first step, acceptable to men. Second step, acceptable to God. Now, there are some that are acceptable to men. That is the third step, that are not acceptable to God. Okay, so when you talk about relationship, you need to first define what is the type of the relationship. Father, daughter, father, husband, wife, husband, and all of that. Now, when you're talking about relationship between a young man and a young lady, you need to define, is it on the filial level or there is more to it? Now, the one she mentioned, which of course is not acceptable both to man and to God, is when you're talking about homosexuality and the rest of all of that. Okay? So basically, if one is going to any relationship, first you need to look at it from the perspective of, is it acceptable? First in the sight of men. Like a young lady going out with a married man is not acceptable. A married man going out with his wife when the husband is still alive is not acceptable. So that's just it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, please, I want to come in, please. When you talk about relationship, you are talking about association between one person and another. Now, to my mind, and I think it is also from biblical, the relationship that is not acceptable is any association, any interaction with anybody, whether same sex or opposite sex, that leads to pollution, emotional pollution or physical pollution. Once your association with somebody, whether a boy or a girl, is now bringing pollution to your mind, something that is not acceptable by the standard of the Word of God, is making you to think what is not proper. Remember the Bible saying, whatsoever is pure, we should think about that. Now, whenever your relationship with somebody is making you to think a thought that is impure, is making you to begin to imagine impure things, or making you to physically do things that are not righteous, that are not clean in the sight of God, that relationship has become unacceptable before God. Let me give you an example. A lady that I had known when we were youths, who has married and in another country altogether, once upon a time sent me a chat on WhatsApp. And I greeted back. It was exciting that we are reconnecting after we had known before. And as I greeted back, she greeted me again. She asked about my people. I said, we are fine. How about your people? We are fine. He said, you're just asking me about me. You're just asking about me because I sent you a message. I said, yes, I will not sleep for a long time. He said, but you are the one that ran away. I said, ran away from what? He said, don't you remember when we were in school? How, we were I was trying to chat. But at the end of that chat, after a certain time, I cut off. But I found out that all those exchanges have created some negative, foul emotions in me. Because she dragged my mind back to things of unbelief and tried to suggest things. So immediately I cut off. Next time she chatted me up. Say, why did I talk to her? I said the chat we're doing was polluting my spirit. And then she began to say, you people think you are the holiest, you think you are going to heaven alone. So you see that relationship has become unacceptable, even though we don't have any physical contact. So sometimes people in the church, through exchange of text messages, through exchange of chats, through exchange of phone calls, midnight, you call a brother, you call a sister, or you call your classmate who is an unbeliever, 3 hours you're hanging on the phone, even though you're not talking about anything particularly sinful. But at the end of that talk, you find out that you're becoming emotional. You find out you begin to imagine or think things that are not righteous. That relationship has become polluted and unacceptable.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, I have something to add to that. Talking about relationship, day by day we meet people, like we associate with people, we relate with people. You cannot tell me if I go, they are not Christians. Yes, we relate with them, but in this context, we are looking at acceptable and unacceptable relationship Now, there are unacceptable relationships here. Relationships that lures us into what is not pleasing to God, into what will make us far away from our Maker. Now, it is my right as an individual to choose what to discuss as I'm relating with such a person or not, to discontinue anything that will lure me into being far away from my God. Now, I have this friend. He chatted me up on WhatsApp. I am the one that released my number. Yes, if you ask me my number, it is my right to tell you whether it's necessary or it's not necessary to give you my number. And when I give it to you, I decide when to stop talking with you. Yeah, this person came up with, we started talking, pleasantries and all that, came up with a discussion about sexuality. I asked him, I thought you're a Christian. Yeah, this young person is a Christian. So why asking me this question? So I thought it wise to discontinue that topic because it will really affect me. Yes, it is your right or it is my right to discontinue any topic or any discussion that will make me far away from my goal or will make me to lose my focus in any career I'm pursuing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our audience, I hope you all understand what we're saying, the acceptable and the unacceptable relationship. Now I want to take time on checking yourself. If you are into any relationship that is not glorifying God, that is not giving Him glory, you have an opportunity to disconnect from it. It's your choice to make. Now we're going to go into dating. Mommy Julian, can you tell us something about dating? Can you throw more light on it?
Okay, dating.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway, from the way the word sound, dating, we can say, from the way the word sound, date, is like keeping a date with an individual. This word actually came from the fact that when a young man and a young woman want to, sit together and talk closely and talk personal things, they will now, bring up a date, and then they will now say, okay, we're going to meet this day, and then they will now begin to talk. So in other words, it means two people, most of the time, opposites coming together to talk personal things. Ungodly people now who want to use that word, putting up two people, putting up a date to come and discuss some things closely. Now the word imbibe it as a time of meeting together to come and talk friendship, close things, and from there the word dating begin to reign, and you can see young men saying that they are dating a girl. What they actually mean is to come and they stay together and discuss immoral things, and so in essence, it is not, I don't think a Christian, from what the word is calling it, from what the way the word is going.
Okay. Can I add something to that? We need to understand the concept of dating. It's a new word. It's been there in the Western world, but then it has come down into our own space here. Basically, like what we've said before, flowing from relationship, nothing stops me from relating with the other opposite sex, yes, but I must define the relationship. If it's going to take me away from my relationship with God, to lure me into anything unclean, I should cut away from that. Now, but then the issue of dating, like what Chibike said, there is no way you will go, I don't believe in dating, and I'll tell you why. There's no way you will go into dating and you will not get your heart soiled. Because at the point of the so-called dating is a baptismal name for a forum where sin is committed. That's my own definition. Now, at the point you are getting into dating, you are discussing issues that are reserved, for people who are ready for marriage.
Yes.
Now, if you're not ready for marriage, you are simply using your teeth to cut what you know you're not going to chew. So why are you going into it? All right. So if you talk, I say a lot of youths, even in the Watchman church, I tell you about dating. Okay, sir, if we don't date, how are we going to know the person that we are going to marry? Well, I am married to a woman because some people are married to men. I'm married to a woman and I've been married for the past 7 years. And I can tell you that even if I had dated my wife for 5 years before marrying her, the things I need to know, I wouldn't have still known them before marrying her, because every day you keep learning. I say to people that marriage is the only institution where you are giving your certificate before you graduate. Okay? The moment you are getting to it, they give you a certificate that you are now husband and wife. I never graduated. That's the implication of that act, is that you're not going to graduate. So just get ready to keep learning for the rest of your life. Now, if you have this understanding, you will know that there is no way you would say you want to know everything about the wife you're going to marry. Excuse me, this is somebody that was born in a different family, grew up in a different community, environment, exposed to a lot of other things, and then the two of you are coming together to become one. Just forget it. So we should not give any excuse whatsoever to the desires of the flesh. If I don't know her, how will I marry her? If you know her, how will you marry her? That's the question. So dating is one word that should be erased. Now, narrowing it down to our church, the Watchman church, because some of the youths want to bring in a lot of introductions and all of that. I tell them that, look, we can be modern in a modernized world without allowing modernization to take fathers. The first generation of the Watchman, they are still there. They are still very much around to guide us. Okay? So if you are trying to bring in dating into the courtship outline of the marriage committee, I am one of the people that will stand against it vehemently, because it is not necessary. They will tell you, okay, the marriage committee will give you only 8 weeks to go and talk and all of that. There is not enough. My dear, if you are given 10 years to do courtship, it is still not enough. As simple as that.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to come in a bit. You see, the issue is that many people that call themselves believers are not sincere. If dating were to work in the 18th century, it cannot work for a believer in this 21st century. You know why? The whole world has been sexualized.
Yeah.
Sex has been sensationalized. Anywhere you turn, you see something that is provoking you towards sex.
Yeah.
Young full-blooded man and a young full-blooded woman
Going now.
select themselves as partners. They are not ready to marry. They just choose themselves as partners, as this. And from time to time, they are talking, they are chatting, they are talking. Look, they cannot. Some people think that you have committed fornication or adultery only when you commit a physical thing. But Jesus said, if you look upon a woman to lust after her, you committed it in your heart. So, and we know that in the biochemistry of any young man or any young woman, there are certain periods in your life, certain points in the life where the person becomes very sexually aroused or sensitive, that I'm prone, such that, you know, if you already have a young man in your heart, at such a time, that's why people live in masturbation. They are thinking about that lady and they are masturbating in their room. They come out and say, we are Christians, we are pure. But because they have idol in their heart, they are thinking about the man. But if they don't know how to approach the man and do it physically, they are doing it emotionally, and they are doing it using sex tools, doing masturbation, doing all sorts of dirty things, because they have already polluted themselves.
Yeah.
So a Christian should keep himself pure. You cannot have a lady, this is my date. Some people even clearly say, this is my boyfriend. All sorts of names that people call it. So we should keep ourselves pure, relate ordinarily as brothers and sisters and as human beings, using the Bible as our standard, and not go to yoke ourselves into something that will force us into something that we are not ready to. do.
Okay, so you're telling us for our own good as a youth, we need to believe anything like dating in our lives, right?
Yes, that's what I believe.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Can genuine love for someone be a pointer towards marriage?
I hope you understood the question.
Yes, say can real love for someone be a pointer towards marriage?
Marriage. So, someone should not follow. Barrister, please.
Well, I agree with him. Genuine love can be a pointer towards marriage. But I've also had instances where there was no love at the beginning. Later, the love came in. I'll just give one instance, So a brother came to me, knowing that I'm close to a particular sister. Sir, God is leading me to this sister and the rest of that. I told him, look, I don't believe in arranging marriage for people. I won't do that. I've not done that before. Nobody did that for me. So you have to go and pray and get your conviction. Okay, so we later went to the committee. Long story short, the sister was called, testimony was shared. And the sister came back to me and said, look, sir, if it's that person, don't forget about it. I'm not interested. Why? I don't like him. Not to talk of love, like as in L-I-K. With the but in E, it's not even there. So I told her, no. You go and pray about it. It took her a little time, about 3 months thereabouts. But when she came and she was sharing a testimony with me, a conviction now with me, I knew without telling her that was God. So yes, genuine love can, but sometimes it may not be instant. It may come later. That is why I always say to people that when it comes to the issue of marriage, for us in the Watchman, we call it the will of God. You need to submit to God's will, like Jesus Christ did. Not my will, but your will. You see, when you submit yourself to God's will, it will be very easy for God to deal with you. That's one. Secondly is, before marriage, because the genuine love can actually be there, but it may not be a pointer to marriage, as I'm saying this now. You see, before marriage, you must know as a believer how God deals with you. Because if you're not already settled the medium or the mode which God deals with you or speaks with you, when he's speaking, even if he's using genuine love, you will not know that it's God that is speaking. So let me stop there.
From Paul, did he answer the question very well?
Yes, it is answered. I still have another question. For our national coordinator.
Okay.
Sir, we hammer only on the spiritual aspect of marriage, neglecting other aspects like personal development, mental, emotional, psychological. The thing is, why don't we hammer on other things, like all these other things I mentioned, so all these things that will help someone make one's marriage work? Because why I'm asking this question is, some youths, they actually go outside seeking these things, this information, and because they don't readily get it here. So they move outside anywhere. When I say outside, anywhere, as far as they are talking about it, they want to hear. So I really want to know why we don't hammer on touch. Because to me, I feel it is important, very important as the spiritual aspect. So, sir.
I think I did. He's asking, why do we emphasize spiritual preparation towards marriage, but we don't give the same level of emphasis, or perhaps we don't emphasize it at all, I don't know,
yes.
To emotional
development, personal
development,
mental, emotional
maturity or development, and all that. I don't totally agree with you that the church, I believe you are referring to our church.
Yes.
Yeah, and the campus fellowship particularly. I don't completely agree with you that we don't do that. Because all we are doing, even when we are preaching being born again, we still bring in issue of emotional maturity, issue of mental development in the whole thing. So, however, when we are, when people are being prepared for marriage, I suppose you are now talking particularly with people that handle that, you know, maybe you are talking in terms of the courtship exercise and the things involved there, or whatsoever. They are not, you don't have much content on the area of emotional and physical and all that. But I think that in the messages we're preaching, whether it is squarely on marriage or when we're teaching generally, all these things, all these areas of life are contained in it. All these areas of life, emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, and economic maturity, all these things, we talk about them as we prepare people for marriage. However, I know that whatever we have done, even in that area of spiritual, we have not yet done enough. There is need to do more. There is need to do more. So this, what I think you are suggesting, indirectly suggesting, that the church should do more in preparing people mentally, emotionally, economically, and other areas for marriage, not just focusing on the spiritual area. I take that, and I would like to communicate it to the people that design marriage training in the church. This is
I was just smiling when Doctor was talking. The reason is that I would take that question as a suggestion, yes. No, not as a question. The reason is a lot has to be done when it comes to, especially the area of personal development. We see a lot of young men that are not ready for marriage, even in the Watchman. And a lot of sisters are not ready for marriage. Yet they carry the issue of marriage on their heads like World Cup. That is something that must be done now. Now, I had a case, I don't know if it's a story or what, but there was a case somebody told me about of a young man that married another young lady. Their in-laws, everybody had come and gone. The first baby came, and then the night after coming from the hospital, the baby was crying in the night. The husband was in another room. The lady didn't know what to do to the baby that was crying. She joined the baby that was crying in the cry. The husband came from another room. I was like, what's the problem? She said, I don't know. The baby has been crying. So what? I don't know what to do. I'm also crying. So what will you do now? You joined in the cry. So everybody started crying. Okay. Now, young people need to understand what marriage is. Young people need to understand what marriage. I speak with responsibility. For me, for the years of marriage has been a lot of learning and relearning and unlearning, especially because God told me when I was to marry that my family is my first church. I have a parish and pastoring, but then he told me straight off, it was a clear, your church is your family. If you can't pastor your church, if you can't pastor your wife, forget about what you're doing on the pulpit, you're just wasting your time. Okay? Now with that, every now and again, I subject whatever it is I do to what's the leading of God. But has that stopped me from developing myself in other areas? No. I discover, and that's very sad, that a lot of our youths don't read. They don't read. I asked one day, how many books have you read? That was last year. How many books have you read in January to December? He said 66 books. I said, which books? He said the Bible. It was being funny, but I didn't see it as being funny because it didn't make any sense. You can't go say you want to get into marriage and you don't know, at least secularly, what marriage is about. As a man, you don't know the body of a woman. So when your wife is having hormonal imbalance, you will think that she's become possessed by the devil because you don't understand. You have not read simple books as Every Woman and all of those kind of books that are good for you. You see, you have not gone for trainings that you should go for as a lady. Personally, I love good food. And good enough, God gave me a wife that knows how to cook good food. Okay? I am blessed. But you see, some people are not that. Now, you as a lady, you know you don't know how to cook. I was sort of a case of a lady that